Very honored Frater BT's Esoterinerd podcast, episode 42, in which I interview Gilla Nissan and her friend Michal. But first, Transformations and Footnotes, in which I read my father's magnum opus while we listen to Tangerine Dreams Ricochet, parts 1 and 2. I had a bit of a change of heart. Several people had told me, you could really sell your father's book. You could publish it. You could publish it on Amazon. I still do plan to do that. But what I had done was I had taken down the PDF document version that was available for free. And I just rewatched the documentary, The Internet's Own Boy, about the late Aaron Swartz. And, I had a change of heart in terms of sharing knowledge, not limiting it to people who have the $7 or whatever, or the credit card. So it is available for free again. So if you go on Google and you search for JOHNDANREIB, those are 3 separate words, and then a 4th word, Transformations, you will get a free copy of my dad's book on PDF. For today, we will be looking at Chapter 1, Verse 9. Keeping the order of the confusion here is a game that keeps you free. The ones who get incarcerate are the ones who get stuck on seeing what they see and need to get the agreement of others that what they see there is as significant or more than what the flesh place has to offer. Some of these reach the madhouse because what they say is too logical, and some because what they say is too illogical. Give the flesh place fear junkies here space to create the feeling of having agreement, by assent and image and nod, and playing in their pastimes, and earning your daily foodstuffs, and looking respectable. If you want to walk back and forth in the flesh place, this is keeping the order of the confusion. And now for the footnotes. Keeping the order of the confusion. Keeping as in not just acknowledging, but honoring and participating in the order of the confusion. It's a very specifically organized kind of confusion here being the flesh place, mostly, the greater Los Angeles area, but he was sort of generalizing, I think, about most urban centers and probably beyond that, is a game that keeps you free. Now, one thing that should be pointed out is this was written in 1976, which was a time when you could have your adult child legally kidnapped by a group of supposed cult deprogrammers and then taken to a warehouse somewhere and beaten. This was going on quite a bit, and there were quite a variety of options of weird groups you could get involved with, but people as innocuous as Hare Krishnas were being kidnapped and beaten per the request of their Christian mothers. There's an episode on Stuff You Should Know called How Cult Deprogramming Worked. I recommend checking that out. And of course, long before the 70s, people were being barbecued and hung for studying Kabbalah or using herbal remedies. Things have actually improved quite a bit. I haven't been locked up, for instance, although there may be some who have relegated me to the madhouse in their minds and disregard what I say because I'm too overtly outside of their sense of normality. That's okay. I'm not being locked up, so that's fine. And of course, knowing my parents, they would have been locked up right alongside me. Some reach the madhouse because what they say is too logical in the face of a irrational and illogical power structure, and some because what they say is too illogical, freaking people out who can't handle things that are illogical. Give the flesh place fear junkies here space to create the feeling of having agreement. So if you leave them alone and keep your distance, they'll just assume that you think the world is the way that they think the world is. And then they'll feel comfortable. And you nod and shake their hands and talk about whatever they talk about. TV shows, politics, recently deceased rock stars, for instance. If you want to walk back and forth in the flesh place, this is keeping the order of the confusion. Now, if you don't know who Aaron Schwartz of Highland Park is, I recommend searching for Simon Schwartz, and that's Swartz. You'll find a Facebook group for a fictional character named Simon Schwartz. He looks exactly like me when I was getting my senior portrait taken in high school, coincidentally. And you will soon discover that in the New World Empire universe, or level 36, 23, 16, 12 by 38, 15, 27, Simon Schwartz is the descendant of Aaron Schwartz. You'll also find on Simon Schwartz's page that documentary I mentioned, as well as a gateway in to both the New World Empire and the Coffee House science fiction projects, which I'm working on. I was invited to a Passover at Gilla's house in 2004. By the end of the Passover, I was so impressed by not only her knowledge of the Kabbalah, her thorough knowledge of everything we talked about, and I had found out that by trade she was a Hebrew teacher at what was then called the University of Judaism, now called the American Jewish University, Los Angeles. I got her card, and I called her and asked if she would be my Hebrew teacher. I explained that I was a student of the Kabbalah, and I would like to understand Hebrew better so that I could better understand Kabbalah and Scripture. And over the 2 years that followed, we met weekly. She taught me Hebrew, and we compared the Kircher and Luria trees and talked about a lot of things. Her friend Michal I just met today. And so, without further ado, let's get to that interview, shall we? Shalom and welcome to the Esoterinerd podcast.
Okay. So what happened, we were in the middle of meditation.
Uh-huh.
And the Ot Tzadi is in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And the mantra that was coming up for it was Tza'ad Gadol Ani Hineni Tza'ad Gadol Behagshama. I am a big step in fulfillment. So we were gazing at it and saying it 33 times. And then we closed our eyes and each one of us went to her place. And when we started to discuss, and we discussed about it because we had a lesson today of talking about how do we feel about God, like the lesson was, is God exist when it's horrible things happen and when it's good things happen, or only when good things happen, or is really exists, is really there? And yesterday I had something very odd. I went to the dentist to have I called and I spoke with the secretary and she said, yes, my stuff are there, everything is fine, I'm arriving. It came out that she looked only at the first letter of the name, and it wasn't mine, and mine will be there only a week after, and I traveled by buses and trains for 3.5 hours. Now I had to continue from there to go to other 2 sessions. I was exhausted, hungry, angry, like I could eat someone. Okay, and I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going back to Gilla's house because I'm here. And I'm letting things come to me. That's it. And when I was telling it to Gilla, I said, look, it was a horrible day, but God was in it. Because I didn't let myself continue suffering. I just made up my mind, that's it, this is the line, this is the boundary, and I'm back, like I put myself in order, and it's like not being the victim of my thought. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And then Gilla was talking. Gilla, your turn.
Real quick, what's your name?
Michal.
Michal, as in who is like God? Is it the same as the archangel's name?
Michael, yes.
Yeah.
He's my master. Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the origin of the name? Because I have my version of the story, but I'm sure it's different from what you would say.
First, Michal is the daughter of Saul, and it's the first wife of King David. Yes.
Okay.
But by my way of by my guidance calling me, they are calling me Michal, water for all. This is my name. Water for all. Mime is water. May, it's like, so Michal, mime.
Very
Yakol,
interesting.
yes.
Okay, so
That reminds me of Kol Or, the voice of light.
Yes.
That means.
Yeah, but this
But that's
call is with
cool.
kuf, and mine is with the kaf.
Oh,
Call
I see.
is whole, and call is voice, but it sounds the same, but it's two different. Call is a voice with a kuf. All call is the voice of the light,
Okay.
and may call is all the water.
Oh. All versus voice. So with a kaf it's voice, and with a
No,
kof
with the
other way
kaf
around.
it's all.
With a kaf it's all. With a
And with
kof
kuf,
it's
it's
voice. Like ayin and aleph at the beginning of Asher is prosperity if it's ayin, and it's happiness if it's aleph.
Yes.
It's interesting.
No,
when
let
those-
me
Exactly.
just. I haven't seen Edward for a long time, so I want to connect with him a little bit. Tell me a little bit what are you doing in your work? I mean, this recording. What is the aim of the recording? Remind me.
Well, that's a good question, and I'm sure that a lot of my listeners are curious as well. Because this is I don't know what episode I'm up to.
You
but
take from these recording things and you work with it.
Well, I will probably trim it down just for conciseness. Like if
Yes.
I'm going to stop and go, I'll trim
Yes,
that out.
yes.
But basically, it's so that other people can hear our conversation. People in other countries, for instance, and people who. Some of them are people that I've known for many years who
Yes.
used to be my students, and others are people who are tuning in, generally who are interested in Hermetic Kabbalah,
Yes.
the Tree of Life as put together by the Jesuits, basically. And of course, we're all very interested in traditional Jewish Kabbalah because that's the source of Hermetic Kabbalah.
Okay.
And,
so can I jump in there?
yeah.
Because at this point, I can connect between the lesson and the Tree of Life, since people know a little bit about the Tree of Life. So we know that the Tree of Life is a map of awareness, right?
Yes.
And it has an explanation how Shefa, how the consciousness is coming down from very high worlds down to where we are here in Malchut. And today, when we were trying to understand why we have the impression sometimes that God is hidden, is not with me. All kinds of not nice things are happening to me, so where is God? And we do it personally, and we do it on a collective level too. And in a way, we spoke about the fact that Christianity at a certain point said, oh, the Jews are not really who they used to be. God abandoned them. And that's why we will take it to the next step. And they are not the chosen anymore. We'll take it to the next step where we will live in a way that shows that we are with God and we are aligned, and there is no need anymore for the Jews in order for Judaism to exist. So the Jews became some kind of an image of something that stands for the absence of God, and also for sins that that this is the payment for the sins that were happening. Now, when we are thinking that God, as we see in the Bible, is always with us, let's talk on a personal level now, so it will be easier to understand on the collective level. God, when He is hidden, when you don't feel the existence of the divine, it doesn't mean it's not there. Our life is a journey, and there's ups and downs in the journey. It will be naive and childish to think that when I don't experience the divine, it means He's not there. When I don't experience the divine, it means I'm not hineni, I'm not ready, I'm not available, and therefore He's absent. But He's absent relatively to my state. He's not absent in a
being.
in an objective sense. Right. So we would
When it
like.
goes to my dream, then
Yes, and so in Michal's dream,
I had a dream just this morning, and in my dream I was in a house, and I was looking at another building, and the building, like there was a huge building in front of me. All of the building has like windows, and all the windows were closed, and it was white. Shadows. And but
Shutters.
totally closed. And there was another building in front, in between me and that building, that there was a house that was without any block, and you could see everything that goes in the house.
Clear, transparent.
Sure, and I was looking at that one, and I said, poor those people. They are so isolated, they cannot see nothing, they are all in darkness, and then, like, I was telling Gilla this, and this is exactly like to feel that God is not there, to feel like isolated, to feel like cut off, and it's like amazing. Sorry, Gilla.
So my understanding of the dream, that it had some connection to the lesson this morning, because when the shadows are closed, it's like God doesn't exist. It's people that live their life with no God. So it's not that He's in the hidden, He almost is really in the hidden. That means when I feel not aligned and connected with the divine, I don't think that there's no God. I just think that my state is so low that I'm not aligned. I don't feel the maximum of myself at that time. And I know that it can go away, and I can readjust myself and realign myself and start to receive from my higher self the fullness of myself. And so I'm back in on the mark, as we could maybe can put it. So this is our question, and I'm glad that somehow we are bringing the questions of the normative religions with their mindsets and the way we relate to each other as communities, that adopting all kinds of mindsets, and perhaps people like us are being invited in our time to open new doors to new understanding, a new consciousness, where the time has come. And I love the Pope and what he was just saying today, where he is opening new doors to find, as he say, bridges instead of closing doors and walls.
And gaps.
And to close the gaps between the religions. The one religion is canceling another. How dare are we as humanity to cross religions and say you don't exist anymore? God doesn't like you anymore. He's gonna from now on he's liking us. So you are not instrumental and needed here on earth.
Right.
This was the message that came from Christianity towards the Jews. Right. So now many Christians don't believe in it, and they say, you have a big piece in this pizza. and we have a big piece in this pizza. And we understand that Jesus, who was a Jew from the beginning to the end, put emphasis on something that we care very much, on the emotions, on the experience of the emotions.
Yeah.
And so not only the mind is important and the laws are important, so Gvura and Chesed are starting to dance a new dance. And we're all meeting in Tiferet. Tiferet has the interest to integrate the different mindsets. And if formal religions will not learn to do it, then we, who are coming from formal religions, will start to open the door for a new experience of wholeness, new experience of bridges that we are trying to create between the religions. And even I am trying to create a bridge between me and my higher self.
Yeah.
It's the first bridge that I need to do.
You're going to your higher self. Wait, let's go. I am going back to the dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going back to the religion people, and I am saying, if we will concentrate in every religion people, in every society of religion people and non-religion people, are the people with the shelters, we say.
You mean
with
organized religion?
Right.
I'm talking about
the shutters, like
the shutters.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
they have the shutters shut down, and all of us in this time wants to open those shutters and bring all the people to unity. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Buddhism, Hinduism, paganism. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you know that you have the light within, and I know that I have the light within, and each one of us is a light, and we are all unity of huge light. And when the shutters are closed, it's not that the light is not there. It just they don't see it, and they don't see the relations together, And when Gilla you were speaking about Christianity and Judaism, I don't know nothing about this story. Okay, like what the Christians said about the Jews, or what the Jews said about the Christians. No, I don't.
Why don't you?
Because it's not my business.
It's a
No, really, I don't know, Mama.
Well,
But
in
wait.
order to bring reconciliation to the situation,
We need to know what
we must know, and very well. I'm listening now. I sit and listen to the Republican. I listen to every representative because I know that there is God there too, and I want to know how they perceive it. And because maybe many people are tired of having two options, Republican and Democrats.
Yeah.
We know that those two dualities are not representing me. There is no room for me in this not only mindset, but also this a system that we are invited to participate in, a system that is very dualistic and that is taking us nowhere. We're going in circles.
Yeah.
We are not evolving, and we don't make room for new creativity to enter. Actually, we are rejecting new creativity and abandoning a system that we call democracy, and instead of upgrade it and look at it as a self-correcting system.
Yeah.
So that's my problem. I'm learning very well what the Republicans are saying. I studied Islam, I studied Christianity, I studied esoteric Christianity, I study formal Judaism and esoteric Judaism. I study other traditions because I need to understand how they think, how they feel, so that I can meet them on their level with their language and try to raise things. The tzaddik that we pull today is a letter that says that the tzaddik is a conscious human being that is able to go under the table wherever you are and try to raise you back. So we have a story in Judaism, and perhaps you want to use beautiful story.
Mm-hmm.
Once there was a king, and he had a son, an only son. And the son one day got crazy. He decided that he's a turkey and he's going to go under the table and be there. He took off all his clothes, went under the table, started to eat whatever food fell from the table. And the king was very worried and started to ask from all over who can come and take care of his son and heal him. And different people came and nobody could do anything about it. Until a tzaddik came. And the tzaddik said to the son, "What's going on? What's going on?" And he said, "I'm a turkey." And the tzaddik said, "I'm a turkey too." He took off his clothes and he went with him under the table and started to make friends with him and learn his language. And they became friends, and he said to him one day, "You know what? We don't need to be naked under the table. We can put clothes on us." And the son agreed with him. And one day he said to him, "We don't need to eat under the table. We can sit on the chairs and eat from the main table." And that's the way how he slowly started to bring him to see that he can be around the table with his real name and with who he really is and participate in the bigger picture. So somehow, because we pulled up tzadi, and tzadi stand for the perfected man of the 21st century, who is it going to be? What is the person who's in the 21st century conscious human being that tries to wake up? How is he supposed to be? He's not supposed to be a monk. He's not supposed to be a fakir. He's not supposed to be somebody who leaves the society. He's not supposed to be somebody that intellectually is becoming to levels that nobody even know his language or what he speaks about. He's supposed to be a person like you and me and Michal and many other people that are very alert and aware and looking for a way to contribute so we can make a real change and reconcile between those organized religions that are clashing into each other and deep inside are still holding something against. And it could be that change will not come from the center, because change as a rule does not come from the center, it comes from the peripheries.
Yeah.
So you and me and Michal and other people are in the peripheries. You see, I'm not a rabbi. I received the title of the rabbi, but I don't use it, because that's not where I received my knowledge. I received my knowledge with people like Michal, with people like a Kabbalist that I studied with the Gurdjieff Foundation. It's not mainstream religion. It's underground spirituality. So that's okay. Maybe the change needs to come from the outside. And we see even in the political arena, the people that are talking about change are anti-establishment.
Underground.
And they come with, first of all, they are real, they are truthful, they speak from themselves, they are not political, and every sentence that comes from their mouth is something that they were directed to say it because it will do the trick.
The marketing department.
Marketing, yes, they are not doing that. They are saying, one of them is going to one extreme, that using even very rude language. It's unfortunate that when you become real to your lower self. So you speak from your lower self.
Yeah.
You don't care about wisdom. You don't care about any, reconciliation. You don't care about the poor or I don't know what he cares about, but he cares about the great America. Right. I don't know how America is going to be great, but sometimes I think like he's going to be the next Mussolini or something.
Yeah.
So, So
let's go back to where is God?
So the question was, when God is in the hidden and we are not seeing him or feeling him or connecting to it, where is he and how we can reconnect? Yeah. And so first of all, we have to have faith in hope and knowing that of course he's still there. It's just your state.
Yeah.
It's your state that is
I'll
not
go to very
elevated.
simple. I will go to very simple way. Like yesterday, when I was in this situation of finding this nice secretary that looked only at the first letter and let me do 3 hours and a half traveling for nothing. It was. I was really out of my zone, like really out of my zone. I was very nice to the secretary. I didn't blame her. I wasn't angry at her. I was angry at me. I said, how come I invited such an experience to my life? Because I know that everything is about me. Like, it's nothing to do with others. She's only reflecting something that was within me. How come I made myself do all this journey for nothing? And then I wanted to continue this journey, and then I said, no, I cannot. If in other times I would force myself to continue, I was bringing myself to exhaustion because you need to do and you have to do and da 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 da. This time I said, oh no, I'm going back. I'm bringing myself to my zone. I am gathering myself again. I am bringing the light within, and then I will do the next step. I am not moving even one step in with this state of mind. It was very new to me, not to push myself till the age, you know. And this is awareness for me.
Yeah.
And awareness is to be aware of how this body is feeling, because this body is my temple.
To be aware of limitations.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's even not about limitation. It's about paying attention. It's about being sensitive to your body as you are sensitive to your light mission.
Michal, that's your thing. Your relationship with your body is
Yeah.
a whole new thing for you, and there's a lot of help now being sent to you to do that, because the body knows everything faster than the mind and
Yeah.
faster than the emotions. Our relationship with the body, according to Gurdjieff, it's the most neglected part of ourselves.
Yeah.
And let's give again the credit to organized religion that taught you that your body is a source of sin, and your body is going to mess up your relationship with God, and your body is this and that. And he spoke a lot about the education of the body and how to bring awareness and attention back into the body, because our attention and awareness and spirit is here. It's not enough. It's not enough. No matter what you see, no matter what you see, maybe you think you talk to God face to face every day, but if you don't bring it into the body, which in Judaism is esoteric Judaism, because the Song of Songs in the Bible speak about passionate love. God wants your passionate love. He wants your love that you feel inside your body, your flesh, not intellectual love, and not only emotional love, but love that the body is participating in. So the whole song, which is very esoteric and many people know, is the Holy of Holies in the Bible. Imagine that one of the greatest rabbis, that was a convert from a Roman convert, Rabbi Akiva, said, it's the holiest book of all the books of the Bible. And what is it? It's all about erotic love between God and us. So, this is new. It's only now starting to be understood. And all the Gurdjieff work, I must give credit to his work and what he brought to the world, back into the body. And everything I teach is back into sensations of the body in the present moment, because only from here and now, where I am here and now, because I have a body, It's an evident for me and help to know that I'm here and now. From that, the truth will appear.
Okay.
This is a new education of the body that is so neglected by all the religions, and only now it's starting to be, everybody are going in LA to do yoga. Why everybody are going to do yoga? The Jews are going crazy. They don't understand. Why are they going to go do yoga and they don't study Judaism? Because when you do yoga and the teacher is saying words of wisdom, it sinks into you because you are in a posture that is receptive. And everybody feel it subconsciously, so they are doing yoga. And in the past, we used to have sacred dances. That means you were praying to God by moving your body. And everything that we are doing now, in the work that I do with Michal, is bringing truth through new ways, through color, movement, experience of the body, sounds,
vibrations,
all of this. It's
energy.
all right. And who picks it up first? The body. And who can experience it first? The body, and expresses it through the body. So I'm doing very little intellectual work. All the words and the intellectual work that I'm doing is convincing people intellectually to come down to their body. and because I'm working a lot with intellectuals.
Yeah.
I'm working with people that are professionals that learned to receive wisdom and academia through the head. So I have to go to the head and convince them to go to the body. I mean, what can I do?
In Hermetic Kabbalah, one of the documents that they revere is the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, and one of the main lines from that is, that which is above is as that which is below, or that which is below is a reflection of that which is above. And then
this is the next thing of the lesson.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was like in Hebrew, they are saying da, know what is above from you. Now in Hebrew, when you are saying it, da ma lemala mimcha. Now mimcha is from you, so if you'd say know what is above, comma, you. Okay, so what does it mean? That you are giving to the divine things that needed to be done. He is transforming it and returning to you, and there is a partnership between you and the above. It's not only coming from up, down, it comes from down above, and this is the way of working. So know what is above you, yes.
Yeah.
But know that you are helping the divine, because you're bringing the thing that you are living it. You are bringing the physical dimension. You are bringing everything that you are into it, that needs to be transformed. Now, my way, for example, when I'm working on stuff and there is a very low energy, I'm taking it to the highest creator and I'm asking to transform it. And when it's transformed, I am asking to give it back to the person, that he will use this energy, but in another way, in a high light way, so that the energy will not just be there,
Right.
And I want to add to it something very important that again relates to the religions. So in the esoteric level of the understanding, there is a relationship between us and God. You are a co-creator. You are invited. Abraham, when he started to have a relationship with the higher, he was instructed to enter a brit, which is a partnership with the divine. So from then on, Abraham was an advisor and started to work with God together. Sometimes he agreed with God, he didn't agree with God. There were back and forth stuff. In some religions, this is crazy. This is totally crazy. All you need to do is obey, and adore the divine, adore the divine. The divine needs us to be his warriors of light here, so that we can bring spirit into matter and start to move things around. And for this, many times you can say, God, what's happening here? You need God to be an advisor and to lead and to receive from you also your perception and impressions, so he can raise them, transform them, as Michal is saying, so I know how to move here on earth. So the back and forth relationship is new. This is something Christianity can learn from Judaism. Because Christianity is a daughter that sprang out of Judaism. There's no need to abandon the source of where things came from. Jesus was totally aligned with it. So I had once a Christian guest that came for Passover, and we're doing the Passover. Everybody asks questions and argue and back and forth, the usual back and forth between Jews and God. When she left, she said, I'm amazed. I was never allowed to ask any questions as a Christian, just to follow, and say yes, yes, yes. Never why, never how, never all of this. I said, I don't know. Judaism is based on questions.
Yeah.
Gurdjieff work is based on question. If you don't have a question, you cannot get help.
Yeah.
You cannot Google if you don't know.
Nothing can move without a question, because the question shows where you are. So the answer is how to take you deeper into a bigger question. That's the way to grow and expand the consciousness. So why shouldn't we all be on board with that, you know?
Yeah.
Add something to this one. I had a vision. When I was in Israel, and I was here, and it was the war with Gaza and the mess, and we are 13 women that are channelers that we were gathered together by Facebook to do a work whenever something is wrong, and like praying, and we are all chatting by writing, and it's like, and each one has vision, and we are transforming this energy of block and war to energy of peace. And in this, one of the question was, okay, what we are doing with Jerusalem. Let's say that we are okay with all the land, we know how we are together in the land and everything is fine, but what about Jerusalem? And then I saw a vision. There is no temple. There is a huge fontaine that
happened between us.
Yes, but it was before too. And there is a huge fontaine. Yeah, but it was before too. And it was like 5 sections. Like Judaism, wisdom. Christianity, love. Islam, honor. And Buddhism, self. Paganism, earth, like nature. And each one has one important thing that it's going, and all together is unity, and it goes by the water. And then, Gilla, we saw the water as wisdom, wisdom from below and wisdom from the rain. It's like history and
Newness.
Yeah. Yes. And so everybody is gathered by the water, by the wisdom of the water, and each one contribute its own wisdom. So it's nothing to do about, Christianity does it this way, Judaism does it this way. No, you will do whatever you want, I will do whatever I want, and we are contributing
But the most
to
important
the
thing
main
is that
thing.
we needed a new symbol. We needed a new unifying symbol, because everybody likes their own symbols, and they are attached to it and identify with it. Water became the new symbol. Nobody can say anything negative. You will not be against water. I'm not going to be against water. We are all for water.
Yeah.
Water now becomes
water is
the unifying symbol, and the fountain the fountain became also the symbol of a ongoing wisdom that keeps on coming and placing itself in the holiest place in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is where the temple was, and another temple was built on it, and there is layers and layers of holy structures that are in Jerusalem, and everybody are sitting there just waiting to cut each other's throats. So imagine that all of this will happen with a new symbol of water. And at that time, when we received that new symbol of how is it going to happen, I was studying about water that is called Mea Shiloach, is the special river that exists. Because the question was, where are you going to have a fountain in Jerusalem? Jerusalem is a desert. But in biblical time, we know about a fountain that, not a fountain, a river that was bringing water from nowhere, from the earth, to service the temple. So everybody washed themselves and washed their feet and purified themselves before they entered the temple. So that river is still there because I went and visited underneath the Wailing Wall. There is a huge pools of cool, wonderful water that as if they were waiting from that time to be utilized for a new vision and and in the book of, not Ezekiel, the book of, a very small book of somebody that has, I think, only one chapter.
Isaiah?
Maybe Yoel, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But there are many prophets in the Bible. One of them has one chapter maybe. He writes about a fountain that will come in the days when big changes,
Really?
paradigm, yes, times of paradigm shift. There will be a river that will burst from below, and I said, "Oh my God, that's the fountain." What does it mean? A river that comes from below and bursts out. And another sign is when the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidut, of Hasidic Judaism, the Hasidic movement, the Baal Shem Tov is the founder. He had a vision that he conveyed in a private letter to his son-in-law, that he encountered when he had a meditation up in higher worlds. He encountered Jewish sages that continue to study Torah the same way we study here. And he encountered the Messiah. And he asked him, when will the Master come? That's what we want to know, when they're going to come. Whatever name we give them here on earth, we want to know when they're going to come. And the answer was, Ka'asher ma'ayanotecha ifretzu achutza. When all the wellspring of your water, which stands for wisdom, will burst out and cover the earth. So we are getting from the Bible many visions of water that will burst out, and water is wisdom, and here it is, a fountain.
Each one of us is 78% of water, Mama. So each one of us is the Messiah. So each one of us is the fountain, and by knowing that it's within each one of us, this is the unity, this is the Messiah time. By understanding that each one of us, I have a sentence, I say, we are all alike by being unique. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is one of a kind. And when each one will honor the one of a kind of himself and of the other, and will team, we will be able to create a better world.
Okay, but this is something many people believe what you are saying today, and
we're working on it, Mama.
Right, many people work on it. Yes.
Not like I do.
No, you are unique, doing it in your unique way, and you need to respect the ways that other people are doing too.
But I'm saying.
But all I'm adding to here is when I was talking about us working on the peripheries, that the change will come from the outside, at the same time, it's very important to keep an eye on the center and how the center is being affected and evolving by the work that we're doing on the outside.
Yeah.
So when the Pope is standing there and saying things like building bridges and encouraging leaders, political leaders, to think in terms of building bridges, we know in the peripheries that he's aligning with the vision that we are cultivating and waiting to see.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm watching CNN and following Republicans that are talking about God or talking about, or I don't know, values and whatever they are trying to do. They are also, it's a sign for me that they can miss the mark very much, but at the same time, they are cooking in some soup that
alchemy
alchemy that I don't have a control over.
Yeah.
We need the divine himself to stir the pot, because we are only the carrots and the celery and the spices that we are adding into the soup.
Yeah.
By observing and by making sure that the consciousness is expanding, you know.
You said that we're on the peripheries, so I know that our voice needs to be heard. So I wrote a script based on all my knowledge, and it calls The Prophecy of the Flying Princess. And it's a fantasy. And it's a cartoon in 3 dimensions. And it is going to spread all the knowledge that I was involved in the last 22 years. And no one can argue with me, because it's a fantasy. Now
yeah,
you can take
I write
it,
science fiction for the
you
same
see?
reason. Yeah.
You can take it wherever you want.
I disagree. Well, I didn't say it. Simon did. In the 24th
And
century.
the name of the princess is Waterfall.
Oh, nice. I have a friend in Japan who took the name Waterfall. What was I going to say? Real quick, I wanted to mention, in the system I was trained in, our archangel of water is Gabriel.
Really?
Who is the one who told the Virgin Mary she was going to give birth to a son.
Oh.
Who was the one who told the Prophet Muhammad, blessed be he, to write to not write it down, but, the Quran. And also in the book of Revelation by John the Divine was the one who blows the trumpet at the end of the world. Or as some would say, at the changing of the ages, maybe.
Yeah.
The world as we know it. The
Yes.
end of the world as we knew it. So it's interesting you talk about water being the reconciling symbol.
But for me, Gabriel is the archangel of compassion. I want to show you his sign, and I want. It's amazing.
You know, Gabriel in Hebrew means
Strength
to overcome.
Oh.
Ligvor is to overcome. So it's a sign of strength and power. And he comes probably from the side of Gvura, because Gvura is what take the unconditional love and direct it and define it, so it won't be diffusing into unconditional love. It won't be just going everywhere and spreading.
Right.
But when Gevura come, or Gabriel, it takes all this energy that is unconditional love, and it puts it in vessels. And the vessels are servicing more specific things. Otherwise, again, I'm repeating, you cannot just believe in love. You need to believe in directed love that is servicing something specific, so that if it's servicing to build bridges, then your directed love is going into building bridges. It's a very specific work, or if your unconditional love is somehow you are perceiving it in a direction of writing a story, or in the direction of making a movie, or that will serve the change in consciousness that we are trying to cultivate. So this is again a contribution of the tree of life that comes from the Kabbalistic tree that says just love is not the name of the game. You need gvura, you need the vessel, you need the intention, you need to ground it in earth to serve specific things, so that we are not having those two levels of love on one hand, or spirit on one hand, and matter on the other hand, and they never meet. They never really create a reality that we are wishing for, because we live here on earth. We don't live in this earth. Need to become the Garden of Eden. This earth was meant to become a Garden of Eden, and the Garden of Eden is the perfect fusion between matter and spirit. Okay? And the Shekhinah, which is the Jewish perception of the feminine aspect of the divine, is sitting in the garden, according to the Song of Song. Hayoshevet Baganim. She sits there and she's waiting for us to wake up and expand the consciousness, because the moment we will wake up and expand the consciousness, she has what it takes to unite back with the masculine divine. So the feminine side of the divine, the masculine side of the divine need to unite together so that the paradigm shifts will take place, and finally earth will feel like the Garden of Eden, which was the original intention when God created the world. He created the world with 9 measures of goodness. In Hebrew, 9 is the letter Tet. The letter Tet stands for internal beauty, external beauty, and when they are meeting each other, there is this purity of the intention of the divine. And that's the creation that God created, that we are waiting to experience. Where is the goodness? Where is the unity that we are talking about? So this is what I wanted, is my contribution to your program, so that we can understand from a Jewish Kabbalistic point of view, how do we perceive reality, and how do we perceive change, and how do we perceive transformation through the tree of life. And I'm glad that we are pulling it all together now, so it's making sense.
Yeah, there's that line.
I am not coming from the Jewish perspective. I'm coming from the global perspective. And when you said the Archangel Gabriel, this is the key of compassion. For me, Archangel Gabriel is compassion, and compassion by the definition that I received is that we are built out of patterns and beliefs, okay? And when something is no longer makes us proceed, we have to come out of it. But we are so habituated to do it that we cannot. So compassion for me is to break this habit and to force us to move forward, and not to give it to make us back. So the Archangel Gabriel is interfering and saying, hey,
So what's the difference
wait,
between Gvura and Chesed?
wait,
It's exactly what I said.
wait. I didn't say that I'm against you. I said that I'm coming from another perspective.
Well, it sounds the same.
No, it's not. Listen
Yes, it
until
is.
the end. And so this is like Archangel Gabriel is interfering in the work. Infinite love is saying, I love you the way you are. Continue to do whatever you do. And this was the discussion that we have before Edward came. I said to you, what is love? And you started to explain, and I wanted to tell you, I didn't have the time because Edward entered, and I want to tell you, when I love you means that I give you the opportunity to fail and to success and to be whatever your journey is, and I'm there when you want my advice and when you want my assistance. I will be there, but I will let you do whatever you need to do without trying to avoid it from you.
Okay,
I
heard you. I just want to say
Wait.
you are mixing up levels. Well, I'm talking on a different level. I'm talking on the level of the tree of life. There are forces in the world that stands for unconditional love. One second. There are forces in the world that come from Gabriel and the Gvura that are here to come and push you and make you fail and make you learn, and so that eventually you will hold a vessel that can direct the unconditional love. Now, when we behave to each other as human beings, and I want to use the measure of compassion because I love you, Edward, and I like what you're doing, and you come and tell me that you fail in this or you failed in that or you are sick, whatever happened to you, I don't need to be the Gvura for you. I'm listening to you, accepting you as you are, and following your journey with love and support. You see, I don't need to be God. God is already sending the forces. Life is sending us the forces that are teaching us what we call tough love, what we call that was a good lesson. It's all there.
Right.
So you're talking. So I'm just saying what you're saying is that there is levels of how the tree of life manifests itself in life, and it manifests on levels.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
when I know my place, then I don't need to worry that I need to teach you a lesson. I leave it for life. Life will do it.
Yes.
And I think that's our problem as human beings. We want to be God and teach each other lessons, and we don't understand that it's already done. All you need to do is
Participate.
Is watch it happen. Watch it happen. I don't need to do anything. It's such a secret to discover, because it's the reconciling force when I just observe how Gvura and Chesed are interacting in life. And I don't need to do anything. I just need to leachil, to
adjust?
No, leachil means
Embrace.
embrace by being in the center. I just need to be an Aleph. That's the message of the letter Aleph. Be in the center. Look how the two opposite forces, Gvura and Chesed in this case, are dancing together. And when you observe them dancing together, they start to reconcile. And instead of two opposite hitting their head to head, they become a dance. It becomes a tango. They complete each other into a whole. So we human beings, according to Kabbalah and the Tree of Life, are invited to be co-creator by witnessing the forces of Chesed and Gvura in this case, dancing with each other, completing each other, and they go head to head when I feel that I need to make a choice. Tell you, you are wrong, you are right, this is good, this is bad. When I start to identify with the two, with Chesed and Gvura, I lose my place as a reconciling force, and then we have the mess that we have today in the world. The message of Aleph, move into the reconciling force and observe from there. This is what the letters are bringing new. I'm not interested to teach letters just for the sake of teaching letters. I'm interested to bring the new messages of the letters, because the messages are universal. They are not only for the Jews. The letters are for everybody. And Aleph, everybody say Aleph, Alpha, whatever you want to call it. It's a force that teaches you who you are, where do you need to place yourself as a reconciling force. Once you get it, once you get it, do whatever you want to do. I mean, you know, but understand that. And I have to take this call.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oriti.
So, what do you feel up to now with all this conversation? You came into a meditation, you are receiving pieces of what happened, and how do you feel about this conversation?
Well, a few things that come to mind. On the level of chesed, like I tend to think of it as, well, I mean, levels of manifestation from absolute divinity, unfathomable, unknowable in Keter, down to Malkut, which is the stuff of maybe the body.
Yeah.
And when we're in our head and we're not in touch with our body, we're not even in touch with Malkut, let alone Yesod or anything else.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in this below Malkut place, lost in our own head,
Twilight
until
zone.
once we can connect with the rest of the physical universe. And whether it's through religion or like Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about how he feels enormous when he realizes he's made of the stardust that came from the Big Bang. And it's that kind of realization that science can, a person who has no religious interest whatsoever can still have a gnosis, can still have an awakening and get in touch with that universal self, which we could break down into 10 levels of the tree of life. Or you could say it's all one, and really who's right or wrong on that one? Who cares? But I mean, using the tree of life model, there's the level of chesed, which in Greek directly translates to agape, which is the universal love.
Yeah, I know.
And then, so the focused love, what I took out of that is that it's the love of chesed that comes into Gebura, and it's that same love that is focused, like you were talking about, on how it's going to manifest in the worlds below, how it's going to help others, how it's going to do this, what's it going to do specifically. And that's where this general love of I love you just the way you are becomes, but maybe you should try this, becomes like a little bit specific. Like
I love you the way you are,
right?
But when you're coming to me, you see how I live,
right?
And you pay attention that I live in a different way.
Yeah.
And I can teach you only by self-example. I don't believe in preaching, we say?
Preaching?
I don't believe in preaching.
Yeah.
I believe in self-example. I believe in experience.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to nature, and I am touching tree because I feel that this is a way how to connect, and it makes me so wait.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for me, it's like to touch a tree. It's like to pay attention to a flower. It's like to be grateful for something. Now you're coming and you're very angry about the world, and you don't believe in God, and you are so pissed off of everything. And I am continue to be me, and I'm so quiet and okay, and just accepting you the way you are. But little by you coming down from what happened to you, whatever came to you, and you start to ask questions, of course I will give you answers.
Right.
But it is like, if I'm going by the story of the turkey, the prince that became a turkey, I wouldn't try to change him. I would try to understand why he is a turkey and what's the duty of the turkey from the first place.
Right.
If you were there.
The other thought that comes to mind, and from the school I come from, there's an expression that it's in the context of Gebura and Chesed, and it's saying that if Chesed, it's saying if Gebura is unbalanced, it's cruelty and oppression. And it's saying if Chesed is unbalanced, it's weakness and lack of will, and would allow evil to exist unchecked, thereby making itself, as it were, the accomplice of evil. In other words, if there's a child beating up a cat, and I think, well, it's his way.
Oh, no.
And it's my son.
No. This is not the way I'm talking about.
Right. But in that specific example,
no,
I wouldn't say live and let live.
No. Let's define. Let's define. This is my second. I am teaching 4 universal laws. The first one is we're all alike by being unique. The second one, there is balance between giving and receiving, meaning that our state of mind is to bring every conflict to a win-win solution, meaning no hurt and not harmed.
Right. Win-win.
Yes, not hurt and not harmed. So if you are hurting someone, mister, come over. I'll show you how it looks like.
Defending the innocent from those who oppress.
I'm not even talking about defending the innocent. I will like, a friend told me that her son locked her out.
Mm-hmm.
And she was screaming and angry. I said, he doesn't understand nothing about your screams and anger. But if you would have locked him in his room for 5 minutes, no more, no less, be sure he will never lock you again. Because he experienced it. He knows. Now, I'm not talking about beating a cat and beat him.
Right.
It's not the same, yeah?
Or at least stop the kid from beating the cat. Say, no, don't
way.
beat the cat.
You cannot beat the cat.
Yeah.
I want you to caress this cat. I want you to feel. And, think that he will scratch you.
Yeah, the cat
in
usually
return,
defends itself.
It will hurt you.
Yeah.
Do you want to be hurt? So do something that both will gain out of it.
Yeah.
That both will win out of it. This is something else.
But in order to love in that way, we have to come down from that chesed love down into a Gevurah love.
I started with Gevurah.
Yeah.
I started with the Archangel Gabriel saying,
exactly.
hey, this angel that I love so much says, don't mess up with me.
Right.
I have my duty, and my duty is to push you to the right path, if you want it or not. Right. I'm not a Democrat. When it's come to democracy, he's not one of them. It's not one of them. And if you take the 4 archangels, each one of them has a huge duty, that when you understand it and accept it, it's amazing,
Yeah.
They are words of God, they are servants of God. They are the highest servant of God, and we're down the down the road servants too. But no, when I am talking about accept, it's like that you're a human being and you are my son, let's say, and you are now on a journey to find out if you want to get, that's what happened to my eldest son, if you want to get married or not, and you have a girlfriend and you're on a journey in another country, you're discovering the country, you're discovering the relationship, you have the ups and downs. I am totally for it. I will never question what you're doing, because this is your own journey. I will never tell you, let's get married, you're 39, I need grandchildren. No! If you think that it's not for you, show me what I want you to be happy. That's it.
Yeah.
Show me that you're happy and all around you are happy. Not that it's like you're taking something from someone else and you are happy on his behalf.
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. This is no. Okay? This is definitely not. You can be only on a win-win solution. You can be only from balance between giving and receiving. You understand that the world is your own reflection. So if you will hurt someone, it's hurting a piece within you.
Yeah.
And if you will contribute to someone, you will contribute to the same piece within you. So the whole world is you. So, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just pay attention to everything that you're doing, because everything is you.
Yeah.
There is a song, you are everything and everything is you. Do you know this song?
Mm-mm.
Oh, amazing.
I know the Kurt Cobain version. All in all is all we are.
Oh, this one I don't know. Yeah, this is it. So, yes. So, that's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
If I corrected myself, I'm glad. I was teaching program in schools in Israel, and I received the first place of...
Okay. I'm sorry, I had such an important phone call.
Oh, that's okay.
I had to take it.
Yeah.
So how are you going to how are you going to integrate the Judaism into your I mean,
Well,
not exactly Judaism,
you know, it's interesting.
you know what? The universal message that comes from Judaism. You see, I'm also not interested in a Judaism that says we are separated
Right.
and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the Judaism that was there all the time. It's not a new invention.
Yeah.
Was there all the time that says, hey, first of all, we exist. Okay, second of all, God is with us, pretty much. He did not skip us. He didn't think that we are sinful and he doesn't want to talk to us anymore, so he's going into, all of those things needs to fall away.
Right.
And we need to start to have the new bridges. Well, I'm going to really stay with the Pope terminology. New bridges, okay? We are here. And we have a contribution in the world. And the contribution is positive. And we need to get rid of all the preconceived poison ideas that was installed until today in some religions, especially Islam, that they still don't know what is Judaism. They don't even know what is Judaism. I was studying voice with a Muslim woman, and we were singing Hallelujah, and she didn't know that Hallelujah is a Hebrew word. It actually was disturbing to her that Hallelujah is a Hebrew word. And the ignorance that exists in the world and the fears are destroying the planet.
Yeah.
So when there is a universal message coming from Judaism, everybody should know about it. And I'm thrilled to convey it through the Hebrew letters. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to get back to your question, I think that the core listeners are aware to one degree or another of the Hermetic Kabbalah, which basically, if you can imagine, Europe from circa, 1300s, 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, you have a lot of people very, for the most part of that, you have a lot of Europeans that the ones that are learning the Kabbalah have to stay quiet about it. And they'll get like one book, the Sefer Yetzirah, and that's it. And cherish it, hide it, with their lives, pass it on to one other person, make them swear on their lives that they'll never reveal the existence of the book, let alone and so that's Kabbalah in Europe. And so that kind of evolved and changed into the school that I was trained from. And so we all know that the good stuff comes from the Jewish Kabbalah. That the thing that we might have a little bit of a head start on is for the past 100 and some odd 130 plus years, we've been corresponding various pagan pantheons. So we've got a lineup of, Netzach, we're talking about Aphrodite, Venus, we're talking about Hathor in the Egyptian, we're talking about Ishtar, we're talking about in the Babylonian, and then, what about Binah? We're talking about Nephthys in the Egyptian, we're talking about the Sorrowful Mother, and so we've got a little bit of a head start on that, but we lack the real substance of the Kabbalah that we have.
What the Kabbalah says.
So I was noticing that on my podcast it says Arabian, Asian, African, and European esoterica so far, and then I realized, well, what about Hebraic? Why did I leave that out? And I realized because I thought I had implied it, or I thought it was just a given, and that there is no European esoterica without Hebraic esoterica.
It all came from the idea, a very specific idea, that God abandoned the Jewish people because they are not nice. The children of Israel are not nice.
Right.
God is angry at them, and therefore the Christians are the new children of Israel that God likes.
Right.
Because they totally, which is, by the way, they do believe totally in surrendering to God. You don't argue with God. You just say yes. You obey, and all the religion is based on surrendering and self-annihilation.
Yeah.
In Judaism, that's not the principles. It's about co-creation, as I said, co-creation, and it's about participating in deeds of creation.
Yeah.
That goes on and on and on. They don't come to an end.
What it came down to was, it was Constantine and, his regime that initially put together anti-Semitic Christianity to echo onto the ages and eventually be inherited by Adolf Hitler. It was
but that's what happened.
Yeah, and he was the seat of Rome. He was the Caesar that the Jewish people refused to kneel down to, and of all the people that Rome conquered, they were the only ones that even after they conquered them were like, okay, we're going to conquer you again. What do you need? We'll beat you. We'll do everything we can. And okay, now will you kneel? No, we don't kneel. No, sorry, we don't kneel to kings. Get out of here, And so they just couldn't get over it. Even all the way up to the Spanish Inquisition, when the Catholic Church came in, it was still the Roman seat of Rome saying, you guys are still here? Okay, well now will you kneel to Caesar? Still no, And it's just, that's really what it comes down to. Which has nothing to do with Jesus, and nothing to do with agape, nothing to do with Christos, nothing to do with any of that.
And still, it's in the spiritual DNA of people.
These rednecks inherited it.
I want to say another thing that you might want to present everything that we're talking here. One of the things that I got very interested in is where are the 10 lost tribes?
So there's the Judah. That's the Jewish people, right?
The Jewish people consider themselves today coming from the tribe of Judah, because that tribe was expelled into Babylon at that time, and from there expelled more. And the 10 tribes were lost.
They're in Palestine, right?
What?
Aren't they still in Palestine?
No. What I'm finding is the 10 tribes, that you are the 10 tribes. That the 10 tribes spread, changed their names, changed everything, because God understood that the Jewish people will not necessarily so fast, the tribe of Judah, let's call it, will not necessarily so fast spread knowledge and light, and that there will be problems, which we know that there were. Problems in perception. So if you think that you are chosen, you think you are special, and other people are not special, it's like Joseph and his brothers. It starts a mess. Yeah. But if you think that you have a job here to teach something so everybody will know it, that's a different aim. And so in between those perceptions, we are where we are today. So if you ask me, the 10 tribes on purpose were spread all over the world. Some of them don't even know that there are 10 tribes. But
the Ethiopian people know.
Well, not only the Ethiopian that were discovered as a group, but there were also tribes. There is also
Yemen?
other people that has.
Yemen.
And I want to dare even defining what does it mean? What does it mean to be a Jew? Originally, to be a Jew is to be somebody that is in an ongoing relationship with an intelligent that is overseeing everything, and that unified life. Okay, so Abraham was such a contributor. He came and said, there's only one God. So whatever. Now, we have in Judaism 120 names to this God, by the way. Although we say only one God, we need to see that. So, okay. So there's only one God, and that was new, or it was a new level of consciousness that appealed to the world at that time. And there was Malchit Tzedek, and there was there was a whole mafia of holy people, and they brought in Egypt and in whatever. And all I'm saying is, at a certain point, the 10 tribes were spread all over, and they spread.
The 10 tribes, when we're talking about Abraham, like
all
our
his
father,
children.
wait, so he wasn't Jewish.
Who is that?
Abraham,
Oh, right.
our father, he wasn't Jewish.
Not until he got the hay.
Yeah, but even when he got the hay, it's not about being Jewish. It's about being one with God.
Right.
Believing one
Yisrael,
God.
the people of God.
That's it. And Israel
Yeah.
is Yashar El. Go straight with God. So everybody that goes straight is with God. But Abraham was the father of 3 nations. You know? At least, yes.
Right.
It's like Judaism, Islam, Christianity, name it.
Yeah.
And we are saying about Torah that she went to the Far East. So even Buddhism,
5 sons of Abraham.
so even Buddhism and Hinduism belongs to the same source
But
that
it
comes from Abraham. So we are all Jewish, I said.
So the roots are coming from the one, and the roots are when anybody in the world have an inclination to spiritually wake up and connect to the divine or to a bigger picture. It is technically. I don't think that we need to. Some people say that means he's Jewish. So to be Jewish is to be somebody that feels grateful. Yehudi is from the feeling of gratefulness, to feel gratitude towards creation and towards the creator of the world, and be in an ongoing relationship with that creator. So anybody, and then Ivrim, Hebrews, were trained to start to spread it, and so it comes from the verb, we were learning it. It's come from the verb lavor, to pass it over. It's light, so pass it over. So basically, all the 10 tribes are spread on purpose to bring that seed in the DNA, and the seed is, who am I? Where is God? How can I feel something? Whatever, on the level that you are. So
I think it was Dina's brothers that screwed it all up then when they killed their cousins and said we're going to separate from everybody.
Who?
Dina? Her brothers, the 12 tribes?
Yes. Yeah, but those are the 12 tribes
Yeah.
that were spread all over.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah.
the Torah is very complex in that.
Yeah,
Whoever
it
made Dina's brothers didn't want Dina to marry somebody that is not Jewish.
Yeah.
It could be that at that time, for this group of people, they were supposed to stay, like a baby, that you need
Right.
to keep him. You need to keep.
Well,
the
yeah, because their
baby,
second cousins were worshiping
protected.
Astarte at the time, and they were
Yes.
saying, "Yeah, we're not going to go that direction. We're going this direction."
Right, and there was a need. That's what I understand. There was a need to focus on cultivating a God that you cannot see, cannot touch, or anything. Just something that comes from within. So as this cultivation takes place, the baby was supposed to be protected and not messing up with all kinds of other things at that time.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
For a period of time. Right? And maybe later on, maybe today, when these letters are coming to Michal and me and telling us we are having a universal message to bring to the world, it's not that they didn't have it in the beginning, but now it's right.
Yeah.
Now it's right for it that everybody will feel that to be Jewish means to be in an ongoing relationship with God, which is okay. Do you understand how many Jews there are now? If
Yeah.
that's the definition,
Yeah.
fine. So it brings a problem also for some Jews who were training themselves to be separated, because kadosh, kedusha, is that which is separated from the ordinary. So if you are being trained, if you are being trained to be separated from the ordinary, because otherwise you will not know what is kadosh. You have to separate, so you eat only this food and pray and all the rituals that are starting to teach you to feel holiness. Understand that today many Jews don't have any idea what is holiness, and many non-Jews have a very strong idea of what is holiness. But the idea is to feel holiness. Gurdjieff said the first step in spiritual journey is to separate one from oneself, meaning to separate the lower me from the higher me. Now, how do I separate it? I taste it by taste. I know myself when I'm ordinary. I know that Gilla, and I know myself when I'm more aligned. When I'm more aligned, so many things that are so important to the Gilla down here are not important anymore. I was right, it should be like this, it should be like that, why did she say that? That's not fair, that's not, and my sister and my, all this kind of level.
Yeah.
When you are aligned with yourself, who cares? It's so not important, because all of a sudden you see your size, you experience your size, and everything in the lower level takes its rightful place. It's not that important. It's just a little argument I had with my sister. Why am I getting so upset? So I used to be upset for a year. Then I used to be upset for 10 months. Until now, I should be upset for maybe 1 minute or maybe not at all eventually. So all the reasons that I have to feel that I suffer and that I have pain and that's not fair and this shouldn't be like this, all of this is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and taking its rightful place. And all I need today is somebody to remind me. Like last night, Michal said to me, Gilla, what's wrong with you? What does it matter? This has nothing to do with you. It has to do with her. Ah, right, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot, she's right. I was released in a second from feeling upset now for a week about it. I mean, not all the time, but it comes. And I'm still waiting for somebody to apologize to me? Mm-hmm. Wow, what a waste of life.
Yeah. But I was speaking today in the lesson, they were talking about the golden calf. Mm-hmm. The golden calf. And where was God? Why did he let the golden calf be created? And I said it was...
the age of Taurus had just ended.
It was purposely. It was by purpose. Like a calf is matter, yes, but it wasn't a matter in that situation. They gave their jewelries to make this calf become. Jewelries in higher spirit, this is what I received as a lesson, was their light body. In that place, in that situation of receiving the Torah, they gave up their light body and they came total matter to study God from the very, very beginning, from matter, without knowing that each one has God. They gave up this jewelry. They gave it away. So all the journey that we've done ever since is to come to this time and to gain our light body again. And to gain our light body is to know, well, I am a creator too. That's what I was given from the first place.
Yeah.
But I couldn't create because I was like the child that didn't know that beating a cat is hurting. I had to do all this journey, participate in all the hurt and light and all of it, knowing what matter is fully, understanding all the lessons, and now I can bring the light within my body because my body is a temple, and appreciate it, and knowing that I am holy, and becoming in a way like 24/7 in holiness. I don't need to wait up until Shabbat to be in the holy state of mind. For me, 24/7 is Shabbat. Because I'm praying, I'm blessing, I am tuned, I am zoned, I am all the things that you want me to be in Shabbat. I am in all the week. And this is how I see it.
And yet, you could bring the Shabbat, the passive receptive state in you in any time of the day. And yet, the seventh portion of time, which is a week, which was accepted from the Bible. Why should it be 7 days in a week? There could be 10 days in a week. There's 7 days in a week. That means the seventh portion of the period of time that we call Shavua, Sheva. Shavua is a week, Sheva is 7, was set at that exact time, so that in that day you make yourself passive, receptive to more energy that is available from above. So during the week we are told by the Kabbalist, a special tribe that is called Issachar, that there are times where more is available from above. In those times, make yourself available, because that's a time where it's like your mother is making soup and she's serving the soup at 6 o'clock, be at home. You know, it's time to be fed. It's time to be supported. It's time so that you could feel not hungry and be a good human being. Hungry people are negative people. So you know, so I still go by Gurdjieff was talking about the law of 7. The law of 7 speaks about the number 7. It's a special number. And in Judaism, 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 years, 7,000 years. There's something about 7 that is on a level of the universe that is asking us to be tuned in a new way, in a different way. So we use it. It's a map, again. The whole Bible and the Tree of Life is a map of how energy comes from above to below. So
and how energy comes from below to above.
From below. Like so be ready to receive it. You know, you know, it's just that simple. It's not about don't drive on Shabbat, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It is just receive the gift. So all we look at, I cannot drive, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be Jewish, it's not for me. Instead of, hello, be ready to receive, any way you want to receive. Sit on the beach and receive there, but be ready to receive. So I like to emphasize the 7th day, that you could have a Shabbat moment every minute of the day if you feel like, we just had a Shabbat before you came. And yet, collectively, if everybody on the 7th day are trying something together, it's more powerful. Yeah. And then we get things from higher level. There's always higher levels. I think every tradition developed a system of attracting energy from the highest level that is possible. That's all. So there's a little competition. The result is, okay, let's compete. The result is what kind of a human being you become as a result of receiving that shefa, that abundance from above. And it shows. So if you look at the Jewish people, I think they have a fantastic contribution to humanity and to the world, because they were aligned with energy that was very special, made them very special, so they contributed. That's all. Now, it's not only the Jews.
Everybody's special.
Not everybody, not only the Jews' contribution, but I think what we're trying to understand is when you have something in you that contributes. Yes?
So sorry. The Jewish, Yehudi, you know, if you take the hay and make it Ein, it's Yehudi, and Yehudi is my mission. So the Jewish people, what define them from others, they have to be devoted to their soul mission. Period.
Yeah, they don't
You can choose not to, or to do. I cannot choose. This is not my choice. I have to be
I
devoted.
think also, Edward, you cannot.
Well, they call me an
cannot-
honorary Jew.
You cannot say no also to the call that you feel that come from God.
Right.
You can say, okay, I want to do it this way, I don't want to do it that way. God doesn't care as long as you stay in. So anybody that feels the call to connect to their essence, I don't have a choice now.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I want to do.
Jewish, you don't have a choice.
But I know
Yeah.
many Jews that have no
Person-
connections. They're no connection. They are too deeply involved with other things.
Yeah.
And they don't, because their perception of to be Jewish is so narrow that they don't feel how they can fit. My father once told me on the phone, I called him, we talk Kabbalah, I tell him, oh, Abba, listen to this, listen to this. He said, one day, when I have a chance, I'm going to leave everything and study what you are studying. I said, no, you don't need to. You can bring it into your life. He didn't know how. He didn't know how. He
But
knew
he's
how to be a
participating.
businessman or to study Kabbalah. How can the two go together? In his mind, it was impossible. That's why we are new. We are saying, no, stay where you are.
Yeah.
In your law firm, bring into the law firm that is all about corruption, maybe something new. Why? Because the universe wants you to do it now. You get a lot of help.
Yeah.
You get a lot of help doing it. Otherwise, how could we do it? That's the truth. I'm going to turn it off.
Yeah. The thing is with the soul mission. My sister is a real estate in Israel.
Mhm.
And she was teaching with me in schools a program that we developed that calls self-responsibility. And it's about the win-win solution. So when she goes now to real estate, she's bringing this state of mind. How to do a win-win solution in real estate now. It looks lunatic to you, but she's doing it. She brings this wisdom to those places, and she doesn't speak this language, yeah. She speaks in another language, but she brings everyone to the table to think, wow, if I will give him, and he will give me, and he will give him, and he will give me, we will all gain out
Come
of
out
it.
ahead instead of competing all the
I'm
time.
with you
Yeah.
on this one. I'm with you. So this is what it means, like,
Yeah.
to do your soul mission. And that's what Osho said long time ago. Osho is a guru,
Mhm.
and he said, it's nice that you know how to meditate when you are isolated in the mountain. I want to see you meditating in the market. When all are screaming and things are running, and let's see you meditating
Of
there.
course, he had his own city, but
I'm doing
But
it.
I just want to add something to it. Is that first of all, I need to go at 10 to 3 to pick up my nephew from school. So then you
So we
can
can start
talk
to wrap
about.
up.
It could be a time for you if you want to share your. Michal is doing exciting new things that are not that you may want to include in some way in your work. But I
I'll
want to
need to
say
go so I
that
can
there
pick up
is.
Jamie. But
You have to pick up Jenny.
yeah, she's in school.
Okay.
She's your daughter?
Oh, my wife.
Right. I just want to say that we have the also this notion in Judaism that says that Talmidei Chachamim marbim shalom ba'olam, meaning disciples of sages are increasing peace in the world. So that means that if you decide that you want to study or meditate from morning until evening, there is a contribution that you do to the world because you bring, I guess, vibrations of the levels that you are connecting with. That's true. But I think there is a paradigm shift after the world for a long time had a huge separation, not in Judaism, but in other tradition, huge separation between the class that is close to God and the rest of the people that are just, even in Tibet, even in traditions that are respectfully fantastic traditions, there was a separation. The monks, the nuns were doing their holy works. The people in the street they don't know from anything. They just go like this, and that's the end of it. What?
No, there was a reason for it.
No, that's what I'm about to speak about.
The time that the priest had to hold the energy and the light for the tribes, for their communities. So they had to be isolated. They had to be holy. They had to maintain this way of life to be a really good vessel to bring this light to the community. That like the worst time that really shamans and monks and priests and priestess was working hard was up until the World War II. After World War II, so much energy was shifted, with all that happened, that it's like became like vacuum. And this is the time where people were starting to connect. In that worst time, people started to connect to light and to bring this light and to download. So we moved from a place that we were unbalanced between light and darkness. Darkness was very high, light was very low. Now to a place that light is very high and darkness is very low. And people might say to me, how can you dare say it? Look at ISIS. And I said, ISIS is the last
very small.
It's the last kick of the monster before dying.
Yeah.
For me, it's nothing. For me, it's nothing. I am looking at the bigger picture, and I see. So now I don't need to be righteous.
France and Germany aren't, going at it. They, slaughtering tens of thousands of people per day in machine gun, it's a lot better than it was like in World War One. We've steadily improved.
And I'm saying, look what's going on.
Yeah.
Children, how they are thinking, how they are bringing this way of peace and this way of light and this way of love, and look at the new generation. Look what's happened to the eldest. Look at the compassion that is coming towards people in Syria right now. People don't want to see it anymore. People don't want to give their energy to such a thing anymore. This is light for me. Yeah. And when this light is so high, then I don't need to be a priest and I don't need to be a monk. I don't need, because everybody reached this level, so I don't need to hold the light for them. I can spread it and let each one hold his own light, you know? And
I think,
this is the thing.
That was what I wanted to say.
Sorry, Maya.
I wanted to say that at different times and periods, humanity is cultivating different vessels of, so there is an evolution of consciousness. That different things are needed in different times. What makes me feel sad is that sometimes when the shifts are happening, they are not clear, and whoever is holding on to the old ways is finding it very, very hard to let go and change, because we live here in a world of matter. So, for instance, you could see that the church is empty. People don't go to church. We see it in Judaism. Young people don't go to synagogues anymore, because the synagogues are holding still a way of teaching Judaism that doesn't touch anybody, because the rabbis are not being touched by an experience. They are intellectuals. They don't even believe in God, and they speak about God, and everybody knows it. So nobody goes to shul, to synagogues, and the question is why? Why? Because nothing happened to them there. So
Tell Edward what I asked you to be.
I'm sorry?
Tell Edward what I asked you to be.
I don't know what you mean.
Gilla, I asked you to be a rabbiton. I asked you to be a rabbi. I asked you to open a synagogue. Because you are a rabbi by all means, but you are another rabbi. You're bringing experience of color.
Yeah, I didn't want to use the word rabbi because you have certain connotations. I said I'm not going to give to the rabbinical institutions the compliment that I came from them. They didn't teach me what I feel that I'm teaching,
Right.
and so why should I call myself a rabbi? Yet sometimes I go to places that if I don't say that I am a Reb Gilla, then they don't look at you seriously, especially Persian Jews, by the way.
Like for example, that you're saying, I am a professor or I am a doctor.
Yes,
That's
if
what
you're a
rabbi
doctor of
means.
something,
Yeah.
if you're not a doctor, who are you?
Title that people will pay attention to you. So use this title. What's the matter?
But you know what? When I will speak in front of a lot of people, I will say, I will explain that I have a reason why I'm not using a title, is because I don't have the true title. You know, I don't have a true title that prepared me. You know, I don't want to say psychic. I don't want to say shaman. I'm not a shaman. What am I?
Spiritual.
What am I? You know. So so let's leave it floating. Yeah, let's leave it open. So it makes everybody. But one thing we see for sure: you go to synagogues. The only place where there is life in is when you have groups of people getting together and the leadership is moving. So each week somebody else is leading or talking about what's written in the Bible. Why? Because it's interesting, it's alive. Nobody cares what the rabbi think. There are 2 or 3 famous rabbis here in town. All they care about is to be smart alone. All they care about is to have an experience alone with themselves, you know? And you're not making everybody have that experience.
Yeah.
Now this is my daughter and everything is going to change now.
Okay.
Who is she? Oh, Natalie! Natalie! You want to come with me to pick up my daughter Natalie.
Hello. We met a long time ago.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Long time ago.
Well, let's wrap up the interview real quick. Thank you for joining us on the Esoterinerd podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, do you have a website I can link to, or? Okay.
Michal.com.
Okay.
Should we meet again? Yes.
Absolutely.
Let's meet again. It's
Surely.
such a lovely
Great to
experience.
see you.
to see you
Absolutely.
again.
Good to see you too. Have fun, and thank you again for the interview.
Say hello to your wife.
I will.
Edward, those are 22 for 22 chakras.
Nice.
Next
Very nice.
time.
Next time. Next
See
time.
you soon.
Oh, can I get a picture just for the episode? Maybe we could all do a selfie together here. With should we do it with the Zadi? Here, I'll just take a picture of you guys with the Zadi, and I'll be in the reflection in the. Okay, so go ahead and look right about there, and.
Thank you, Gilla and Michal, for being on the Esoterinerd podcast tonight. As always, thank you to the monks on Mount Koyasan for the beautiful music you're hearing now. Thank you to Tangerine Dream for the music behind the Transformations and Footnotes segment. And most importantly, thank you to you, the Esoterinerd listening to this podcast. May Adonai bless you and keep you. May Adonai cause his light to shine upon you. May Adonai turn his face towards you and bring you peace. Good night.